The new Sabaton song, Defense of Moscow, is an awesome song, but it does sound a little familiar. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time on the channel, hit subscribe right now. We've started the road to the new Sabaton album, and one of the new songs is Defense of Moscow. Now that song sounds really cool, but there's one particular piece that sounds very familiar. Now this is actually because Sabaton on this song repeats a trick, if you will, that they've done before and that many other bands have done, which can make a song an instant classic.
Defend the motherland, Moscow shall not fall. Standing for command, the blood for the homeland.
What I'm talking about is they are using a very well-known melody and they incorporate that into their song. Now obviously I'm talking about this particular piece in the song. Did that sound familiar to you? No, it should, because that is actually the old Soviet, or now the Russian, national anthem. And obviously that makes a lot of sense given that this song is about the defense of Moscow in the Second World War. Let's put them side by side. This is Sabaton. And this is the Russian anthem. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they've plagiarized the national anthem of Russia. No, it makes total sense that they incorporate this well-known melody to really build the atmosphere of the song. And like I said, this is something that they've done before. And they have been inspired by other bands to do this. And I could make a massive video about metal bands, predominantly power and heavy metal bands, that have incorporated very well-known anthems or just very well-known classical music pieces. One of the best examples is obviously Accept with Metal Heart. Every metalhead can sing along to that solo, but you would be surprised how many people would instantly recognize that melody, because this is actually Ludwig van Beethoven's Für Elise. But hey, it's not just heavy and power metal bands that do this quite a bit. Another example would be of the German thrash metal band Tankat, who have a fun song called Die with a Beer in Your Hand. As the title and the lyrics suggest, at one point you need a funeral, and then the song turns into this. And that piece is obviously Chopin's Funeral March. Like I said, I don't consider this plagiarism at all. I think this is often just a really cool either tribute or a very useful way of building a certain atmosphere in a song. And sometimes, you know, it's just maybe a little trick to make a song, you know, very catchy from the get-go. But back to Sabaton. Like I said, Sabaton has done this before, and in this quick free video, I'm gonna share 3 examples of Sabaton using well-known classical pieces to make their songs very catchy. We'll start with a very on-the-nose example from their album The Great War. Listen to the start of The Red Baron. Alright, that's a really cool and ominous intro of one of the best songs on that album, but lovers of classical music have obviously already spotted that this is just simply Bach's Little Fugue in D minor. A lot of neoclassical bands have been inspired by Johann Sebastian Bach, and actually my second example is another influence by Bach. One of the best songs of the album Heroes is Hearts of Iron, about the end of the Second World War in Germany, where German soldiers decided to, instead of continuing fighting, focusing on evacuating as many civilians away from the fighting and away from the Russian army to surrender to the American army. In that song, when the band talks about, despite everything that, was terrible in the war, with this final act, at least these soldiers could look back with a little sense of pride, and it's almost like a spiritual moment where you feel people would want to, pray and be thankful for the fact that they were able to escape to what would become Western Germany after the Second World War. The melody of the song at that point completely changes, and we hear this slow and moving solo. Yet again, we actually hear Bach in disguise with the third orchestral suite in D minor, and particularly the second movement, which is actually much better known as Bach's Air Suite. Bach was a composer of predominantly religious music, and the Air Suite is interpreted as somewhat of a prayer song, so it fits again really well with the context within the song. Alright, and on to my third pick for today. A little bit more hidden. This time we leave Bach behind and we go back to another composer that we already had in this video. Again, we go to the album Great War with the song Fields of Verdun.
The bombardment lasted all day long, yet the forts were standing strong. Heavily defended, but the traps been sprung in the back.
As the band is painting these scenes of horror in the trenches of Verdun, we get a solo that almost feels like gunfire coming at us. Actually, a guest solo by former Sabaton member Tobbe Englund, who plays a solo that, again, sounds quite familiar. When this song was first announced, I couldn't put my finger on it straight away, and so I actually checked in with Tobbe himself, and he confirmed that yes, there's a little hint there of, again, Ludwig van Beethoven, and I should have known better, because obviously the moment that he mentioned that, it was very easy to find out which iconic work of Ludwig van Beethoven is being channeled here. Let's play the start of that solo one more time. Alright, you might not recognize those particular notes. It's not an exact copy of this particular work, but it is definitely clearly inspired. The start of the classical work, I think everybody will know, because it goes something like this. That's right, I'm talking about Ludwig van Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, and in particular this piece. I love this approach. Again, this for me is not stealing or plagiarism. For me, this is providing a tribute, helping to build an atmosphere of a song, and yeah, it just really works if you incorporate some of the most famous melodies in the world, and sometimes a little bit more subtle so that people don't realize it straight away. It will make your song stand out and catchy, and people will recognize and remember your song so much easier. So you don't want to do this every time, because then it becomes a little bit much, but the times that Sabaton and other bands have done it, I think it works really well. So these were my top 3 picks of songs by Sabaton that were influenced by classical masterpieces. What are your thoughts on incorporating classical melodies into heavy metal? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you for the next video. Alright, so if you like that video, click right here to see more content like it, and subscribe to the channel.